Negativity is sneaky, like that one friend who shows up to your house uninvited, eats your snacks, and then reminds you of every embarrassing thing you've ever done. The truth is, humans are basically wired to pay more attention to the bad stuff. Back in the caveman days, this made total sense. If you didn't notice the giant tiger hiding behind the bush, well, congratulations, you just became tiger lunch. So our brains evolved a negativity bias, a little survival alarm system that constantly scans the world for danger. Fast forward a few thousand years, and we're no longer running from tigers, we're running from emails, deadlines, traffic, weird texts, awkward conversations, and people who say we need to talk. Unfortunately, the brain hasn't updated its software. It still treats every minor inconvenience like a 5-alarm emergency. Your boss writes, "See me," on a message. Your brain goes, "We're doomed." Someone doesn't reply to your text for 2 hours. Your brain, "They hate me. They've moved on. It's over." You spill coffee on your shirt. Your brain, "This is a sign. My entire life is collapsing." Meanwhile, reality is like, "Relax. It's just Tuesday." That's the negativity trap. Your brain zooming in on every potential problem and magnifying it like it's starring in its own dramatic Netflix series. Even when life is going okay, negativity has a way of whispering, "Something bad is probably coming, stay alert." And because your brain loves old habits, it becomes second nature to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. One rude comment overshadows 10 compliments. One setback wipes out a week of progress. One awkward moment replays in your mind like a broken YouTube loop. Over time, this constant attention to danger you're not actually in creates a cycle of chronic worry. Your brain starts preparing for disaster even when you're just trying to enjoy a sandwich. And pessimism, that becomes your default lens, like you're walking around with emotional sunglasses that turn everything a little darker than it really is. The worst part is negativity is contagious. One negative thought invites another, then another, until your mind feels like it has a full-blown negativity rave going on. Lights flashing, alarms blaring, intrusive thoughts dancing aggressively in the center. And because your brain thinks it's protecting you, it keeps feeding you these thoughts. It believes it's helping. It thinks it's your loyal security guard, except the guard is overworked, paranoid, and screams "threat" every time a leaf rustles. And once you live in that state long enough, your brain basically becomes the world's worst fortune teller. It predicts bad outcomes before they even happen. Didn't get the promotion yet? Probably won't happen. Starting something new? Probably gonna fail. Making progress? Don't get too excited. Disaster might be around the corner. The negativity trap isn't about weakness, it's about wiring. You're not broken. Your brain is just running last season's survival software. The world changed, but the programming didn't. Today's threats aren't life-ending, but the brain still reacts like they are. The good news is, once you understand how this negativity bias works, you can start retraining your mind. You can teach your brain that not every inconvenience is a crisis, that not every unknown is danger, and that not every challenge requires panic mode. The moment you recognize the trap is the moment you stop falling into it. And from there, life gets lighter, calmer, and a whole lot funnier, because honestly, once you see how dramatic your brain can be, you'll laugh at how it turns a harmless email notification into a full survival scenario.
Awareness is basically the moment you catch your brain doing that thing it always does, creating chaos, and you look at it like, "Bro, seriously?" That moment right there is liberation. It's the mental version of stepping outside yourself and saying, "Hold up, this thought is not me. It's just a thought." Most people never do that. They stay stuck inside every little idea their mind throws at them, like they're trapped in a group chat with their own anxieties. When a negative thought pops up, "You're not good enough, this will go wrong, everyone is judging you," most people believe it without question. They grab that thought, hug it, raise it like a child, and let it ruin their day. But when you become aware of your thought patterns, something magical happens. You stop letting your brain boss you around. You realize you're the one driving the car, not the random thoughts screaming directions from the back seat. Mindfulness is the tool that makes this possible. And no, you don't have to sit on a mountain, cross-legged, glowing, drinking herbal tea made from unicorn tears. Mindfulness just means paying attention, on purpose, to what's happening in your mind without freaking out or judging yourself for it. It's like watching your thoughts float by the same way you'd watch clouds. A big angry cloud appears? Okay. A sad little rain cloud? Cool. A cloud shaped like a taco? Even better. The point is you're watching, not reacting. The moment you start observing your thoughts instead of living inside them, you get distance. And in that distance, there's freedom. You stop confusing "I feel anxious" with "I am anxious." You stop treating every passing insecurity like it's the truth. You stop letting every random idea dictate your mood or your behavior. You start seeing thoughts the way they really are: mental events, temporary blips, background noise created by a brain that sometimes acts like a hyperactive toddler with a whistle. This separation, this ability to say, "I am not my thoughts," is what cracks open the door to mental freedom. Think about how many times your mind has told you something ridiculous and you believed it like it was gospel. Everyone hates you. Really, everyone. Your mind acts like you're some celebrity-level villain that people worldwide discuss over breakfast, where it tells you, "Don't try, you'll mess it up," even though you've done way harder things before. Mindfulness helps you catch these lies in real time. It's like putting your brain under surveillance. Every time it tries to sabotage you, you see it. You notice it. And once you notice it, the thought loses its power because you're no longer reacting, you're choosing. And that choice is liberation. Awareness gives you control over what you give importance to. Instead of being dragged around by old habits, old fears, and old narratives, you get to rewrite the script. Instead of spiraling into worry, you say, "Yeah, my brain is being dramatic again. Classic." Instead of getting swept away by insecurity, you pause and remember, this is just a thought, not a prophecy. Over time, this awareness becomes a superpower. You stop arguing with your mind and start understanding it. You stop over-identifying with your emotions and start letting them flow through instead of trapping yourself in them. You become calmer, clearer, and more intentional, not because your life magically changes, but because you finally stop letting your thoughts run the show. And here's the funny part. When you first start doing this, your brain gets offended. It's like, "Wait, you're not listening to me anymore? After everything I've done for you? All my warnings? All my catastrophes?" But eventually your brain chills out because it realizes you're not trying to shut it up, you're just not falling for its drama anymore. That's freedom. Not the loud fireworks kind, but the quiet, peaceful kind that shows up when you finally understand your mind without letting it control you. It feels like stepping out of a noisy room and closing the door behind you. Suddenly, you can hear yourself think. Not your fears, not your insecurities, not your mental noise. You. And once you experience that, you never want to go back.
Going from reaction to response is basically the art of not letting your emotions drive your life like a caffeinated squirrel behind the wheel. Most of us react instantly to everything. Someone cuts us off in traffic, someone gives a weird tone, someone sends a K text instead of OK, and our brains go full drama mode. Our nervous system lights up like a broken alarm system. Danger, attack, panic, cry, throw something. It's instinct, it's raw, it's automatic, and honestly, it's exhausting. Emotional reactivity is like having a built-in emotional landmine. One wrong step and boom, you're exploding over things that are about as threatening as a marshmallow. But the moment you learn to pause, literally pause, you shift from living on impulse to living on intention. That pause is where everything changes. Picture this. Someone says something rude. Your automatic reaction wants to jump out like, "Excuse me? Who do you think you're talking to?" Your heart rate spikes, your chest tightens, your brain prepares a whole TED talk of comebacks. But instead of letting that emotional surge hijack your day, you take a breath. One slow, ridiculous, exaggerated breath. Suddenly, your nervous system goes, "Oh, we're not dying. Okay then." Breathing is like hitting the calm down bro button for your entire body. It tells your brain you're safe, even if your emotions are trying to convince you otherwise. And once your body chills out, your brain can actually think again. You go from reacting like a wild animal to responding like someone who actually slept last night. Grounding works the same way. Ever gotten so angry or anxious that you felt like your mind left your body? Grounding brings you back, gently reminding you, hey, you're here, we're fine, nobody is attacking us. You can touch the table, plant your feet, notice what's around you, anything that reconnects you to the present moment. You'd be surprised how many emotional disasters you can avoid just by returning to your body instead of spinning in your head. When you ground yourself, you stop feeding adrenaline and start feeding clarity. Your mind stops being a tornado and becomes something closer to a light breeze, still moving, but not destroying everything in its path. Then there's cognitive labeling, which sounds like something from a psychology textbook, but it's basically just calling your emotions by name instead of letting them jump you in a dark alley. When you say, I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling anxious, you create distance between you and the emotion. Instead of being the anger, you're noticing it. That tiny shift is huge. It's like telling your brain, relax, we're handling it. Research shows that labeling emotions cools down the amygdala, the drama queen of your brain that thinks everything is an emergency. The moment you label what you're feeling, your brain switches from emotional mode to logical mode, like switching from a soap opera to a documentary. Suddenly, you're not drowning in feelings, you're observing them with a little more sanity. And this is where response comes in. Once your nervous system is calm, thanks to breathing, grounding, or labeling, you get to choose what to do next instead of letting your emotions choose for you. That's the difference between snapping at someone and having a normal conversation. It's the difference between quitting something out of panic and making a clear decision. It's the difference between regretting your reaction and being proud of your response. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. Reaction is your inner 5-year-old. Response is your mature, grown-up self, the one who actually pays bills and buys vegetables sometimes. What's funny is once you start practicing this, people notice. They'll be like, wow, you're so calm. And inside you're thinking, oh, trust me, the chaos was there. I just didn't let it talk. And that's the power of this shift. It doesn't stop emotions from happening. It stops emotions from controlling you. It doesn't turn you into a robot. It turns you into someone who acts with clarity instead of panic. It doesn't eliminate feelings. It makes them manageable. Over time, responding becomes your new normal. You start pausing without thinking about it. You breathe before reacting. You label emotions before they take over. You ground yourself when stress tries to drag you into a spiral. And slowly, you become the kind of person who handles life with more confidence, less chaos, and way fewer, oh no, why did I say that, moments. That's liberation. Not a perfect life, but a calmer mind that knows when to pause before the squirrel takes the wheel again.
The Reframe Formula is basically your brain's customer service department, except it actually works. It's a simple 3-step method: pause, question, replace. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This thing is powerful. It's like giving your mind a little makeover every time it tries to act messy. So here's how it goes. First, you pause. This is the part where you stop your brain from sprinting off into a panic-filled wilderness. You catch the negative thought in the act, like, hey, where do you think you're going? Most of us let negative thoughts run wild like unsupervised toddlers in a grocery store, knocking everything over. But pausing is you putting your hand on the cart and saying, we're not doing this. It's that tiny space between the thought and your reaction, the difference between spiraling and staying sane. Even a 2-second pause can save you from a full mental meltdown and about 7 unnecessary problems that didn't need to exist. Next comes questioning, which is where things get interesting. This is you holding your negativity up to the light like a fake dollar bill. Your brain says, you're a failure? Really? Based on what? One awkward email and a burnt piece of toast? Questioning invites logic back into the room like a sensible adult. You ask yourself, is this thought actually true? Is it the whole truth? Am I exaggerating, being dramatic, acting like I'm in a tragic movie scene even though I'm just sitting on the couch?
Most negative thoughts don't survive this interrogation. They crumble like cheap cookies. That's because negativity loves to speak in extreme language. Always, never, everyone, everything. The moment you question it, you realize your brain is basically gossiping about you with zero evidence. When you challenge these thoughts, you take away their power. It's like telling your brain, look, if you're going to freak me out, at least bring receipts. Then comes the final step, replace. This is where you swap out the unhelpful, gloomy thought for something that's actually realistic. Not fake positivity, not unicorns dancing in sunshine, just a more balanced, reasonable alternative. If your original thought was, I'm going to mess this up, you replace it with something like, I might not be perfect, but I can handle it. If your brain says, everyone thinks I'm weird, you replace it with, okay, maybe a few people don't get me, but plenty do. You're not lying to yourself. You're leveling the playing field. You're adjusting your mental camera lens so the picture isn't distorted. Replacing the thought is like updating your GPS when it keeps trying to take you down a road that's clearly blocked. You're saying, thanks, brain, but we're going to try a different route. And just like that, you shift your entire emotional experience. Here's the wild thing. Your brain loves patterns. Once you do this enough times, it starts doing it automatically. You'll catch negative thoughts faster, question them more naturally, and replace them without having to sit down and have a whole meeting with your inner critic. Eventually, negativity comes up, knocks on your mental door, and your brain goes, no thanks, we've got a new system here. And the best part? You start to notice how dramatic your thoughts used to be. You'll laugh at how quickly your mind used to jump to worst-case scenarios like a conspiracy theorist with too much free time. The more you practice the Reframe Formula, the more emotionally steady you become. You respond instead of react. You stay grounded instead of spiraling. You go from being chased by your thoughts to leading them where you want them to go. It's like finally putting yourself in charge of the mental committee in your head. And trust me, they needed a supervisor. So every time your brain tries to serve you a big plate of negativity, you already know the drill. Pause, question, replace. It's quick, it's clean, it works. And it turns your mind from a chaotic drama factory into something calmer, kinder, and honestly, way easier to live with.
Environment matters more than we like to admit, and the book basically says your mind is not some isolated Zen bubble. It's more like a sponge that absorbs whatever it's soaked in. And honestly, most of us are soaking in chaos. Think about it. Your digital life alone is a non-stop buffet of noise. Notifications buzzing like mosquitoes, random reels, political rants, people bragging about their perfect vacations while you're just trying to enjoy your cereal. Your brain doesn't stand a chance. It absorbs all that stimulation, and before you know it, you're mentally overloaded, emotionally fried, and convinced everyone has their life together except you. Your nervous system is trying to stay calm while you scroll through a highlight reel of humanity's loudest, most dramatic moments. No wonder your thoughts feel messy. You're feeding them digital junk food all day. Then there's your social circle. You know that one friend who always complains? The one who treats every inconvenience like a natural disaster? Or the one who thinks life is just one long conspiracy against them? Yeah, your brain absorbs them too. Emotions are contagious. Negativity spreads faster than Wi-Fi. If you spend too much time around drama, you start thinking in drama. If everyone around you is pessimistic, anxious, or constantly talking about how terrible everything is, your mind starts matching their energy like a chameleon. Suddenly, you're worrying about things that aren't even yours, carrying emotions that don't belong to you, and wondering why you feel heavy for no reason. You're basically downloading other people's chaos without asking for it. Meanwhile, uplifting, supportive people are like mental spa treatments, rare, soothing, and worth keeping. And don't even get started on physical clutter. Your room, your desk, your car, whatever space you live in is like a mirror for your brain. If your environment looks like a tornado visited and decided to settle down, your mind will reflect that. Clutter quietly whispers, you have so much to do. Look at all this stuff. You're behind. You're overwhelmed, even if you're just trying to find your phone charger. Clean space equals clean mind. Messy space equals brain static. It doesn't mean you need to be some perfect minimalist monk living with 3 objects and a plant, but when your environment is drowning in stuff, your thoughts start drowning too. There's something magical about organizing even one corner. It feels like your mind takes a deep breath. When you detox your environment, digitally, socially, and physically, you create mental breathing room. You stop feeding your brain a nonstop stream of emotional junk. You give your nervous system a break. You allow your thoughts to settle instead of swirl around like confetti in a hurricane. Digital detox means choosing what you consume instead of letting the algorithm hit you with whatever chaos it feels like serving. Social detox means protecting your energy from people who drain it like emotional vampires. Physical detox means clearing the clutter that silently stresses you out every time you walk past it. All of this combined creates a cleaner mental ecosystem. Your environment either supports your clarity or sabotages it. You can practice all the mindfulness in the world, do gratitude journaling, meditate like a monk, but if your surroundings are constantly feeding your brain stress, your clarity won't last. The book's message is simple. If you want a cleaner mind, build a cleaner world around it. Change the inputs, and the outputs transform. Control what you allow in, and your thoughts stop feeling like they're living in a crowded, noisy apartment where everybody's yelling. Create space, digitally, socially, and physically, and your mind finally gets space to breathe, relax, and think like the calm, collected version of you that's been waiting underneath the noise.